welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Oops. So thank you for the opportunity to speak here today. Acknowledgement to the Mayor and the councillors. And no doubt you're all thinking, not another submission about New Brighton.
Never.
I can tell you though that I don't mention the camping ground and I don't mention the golf course. I'm supported by my daughter Celeste. Celeste is going to help me with the big words and the Alzheimer's, which is a big word. And of course she'll be addressing you tomorrow, so you be prepared.
Excellent.
I'm a cynic ratepayer and I speak in that capacity. I'm not aware of the intricacies of how the City Council works around budgets and policy, apart from how it affects me. As a ratepayer, I fully endorse the comments by one of your own Christchurch City Council finance spokesman, Ralph Mungie, who suggested Jerry Brownlee should let people like me and the City Council decide the future of the city and have some control over the decision making, and it is clear we don't share the same vision as the Earthquake Minister. In December 2012, 80 frustrated New Brighton residents bared their bums to get the Christchurch City Council's attention, upset about the neglect of their suburb. Mayor at the time, Bob Parker, stated in reply, "The City Council is dedicated to creating a new vision for the area," and went on to say, "We'll prove to them in the months ahead, in fact, they're wrong." That statement was made 3 years ago. So let us talk about the master plan for New Brighton, setting the vision and setting goals for the redevelopment and recovery of the New Brighton Commercial Centre. The implementation of which, according to its blurb, will bring new optimism and investment into New Brighton and create a more resilient community. The master plan talks about getting participation from all sectors of the community, including business owners and community groups, and above all, us, the residents. The master plan highlights the need for a strong positive identity for the centre to improve people's perceptions of the eastern suburbs. The master plan also states the plan is achievable and goes on to say people's ideas and aspirations are formed into an achievable project and the actions backed up by a staged implementation schedule. In other words, the master plan is not a wish list. So let us go back some years to 2002 when the infamous revitalisation plan for New Brighton was born and trumpeted in a similar fashion to its present day successor, and then lay gathering dust for 13 years. Some of its ideas have been made or incorporated into the master plan and a new lease of life. So what will be the difference? How would one get off the drawing board and not the other? The master plan acknowledges it is important, therefore, the latest master plan sets realistic goals to ensure that the projects can be delivered within set time frames. So what does this master plan say about set time frames? And to be honest, I could not find any set time frames. Let us take the example of the foreshore and marine parade upgrades. What does the master plan say? The pace of implementation will be influenced by a range of factors, many of which are yet to be fully determined, which is not very reassuring. The master plan for New Brighton then goes on to admit it is easier to provide timeframes on the development of public land. However, much of the funding is yet to be secured, which is not very reassuring either. The master plan goes on to say development on private space is much less certain. Others may require regulatory processes, e.g. resource or building consent. The closest the master plan comes to timeframes is by organising the actions into 4 streams. And these are just starting timeframes and not completion dates. The priority is 0 to 2 years, short term is 3 to 6 years, and that includes the foreshore. Medium is 6 to 10 years, and that includes the immediate surrounding road, that's the ring road around the mall. And then there's the ongoing, which covers 10 years and more. And that is the revamp of the main mall itself. As uncertain as all that sounds, there is then the question of how will it all be funded? And that, of course, requires money. According to the master plan, the capital costs which relate to the physical work, such as street upgrades, open space enhancements or development of council land, must be secured through the City Council's annual plan process. That happens every year. And herein lies the black hole, particularly if we consider this statement from the Council in the master plan. Council activities and priorities change over time, and therefore the projects will be contestable as part of the review of the long-term plan undertaken every 3 years. This review involves the identification and prioritisation of projects across the city. But wait, there is more. All decisions as to whether or not the council-funded action will commence remain with the council, and there is no binding commitment on the council to proceed with any actions identified in the master plan, and that is not reassuring. So what is the future of New Brighton? Well, the current situation is very, very bleak. The New Brighton Economic Assessment Summary document offers sombre reading. The New Brighton has been in a downward spiral in terms of attractiveness, environment and retail store activity. A retail audit showed a fifth of stores in the suburb, and that's 22 stores, were vacant. This is one of the highest vacancy percentages ever recorded in the last 10 years of any place in New Zealand. A city councillor at a meeting on the 11th of May said he was in the seaside suburb the previous week and he could not believe the state of the place. Let's summarise. There appears to be no money for the master plan at this point of time, and every year the Capital Works will have to vote money towards some part of the plan. Therefore, to ever get to completion will be beyond the tenures of most councillors here today, and has already eaten up 3 years up to this stage. And according to best guarantees by the council, it may be 10 to 15 years plus before you get anywhere near a possible start date for the bulk of it. And this is not taking into account changes in council personnel and political agendas which may be far less enthusiastic about voting more money towards New Brighton. And the Capital Works money may be voted elsewhere, while New Brighton, and I'm not saying New Zealand continues to languish, but New Brighton certainly will. The Master Plan 2015 is looking as rosy as the original 2002 revitalisation plan. Therefore, achievable it may be or may not be, but sadly it looks like the master plan signed off finally in March 2015 is beginning to look like the wish list it promised it would not be. And going all the way back to the protest in 2002, it would appear to me the bums are going to be proved right, which leaves two questions. What has happened to the legacy project and the hot saltwater pools 20,000 people indicated they wanted on the New Brighton foreshore? And number two, what is Christchurch City Council doing for the state of New Brighton as it is now? To go back to Ralph Manji, who suggested on television's Campbell Live current affairs program on the 15th of May, the shrinking budget and the likelihood of a blowout requires an immediate rethink on the Jerry Brownlee big-ticket projects like the Convention Centre. And we don't buy the spin doctor stuff that the taxpayer gets a free ride on this, because the taxpayer or the ratepayer get a free ride, the taxpayer pays. And you know, the rumours are that we've lost money on the land that the Convention Centre is going to be built on. And there's a lot of secrecy around the wheeling and dealing. As a cynic ratepayer and reluctant taxpayer...
Excuse me, I've let you run long over time because
okay.
you know, you've got an important message to give, but would you like to just kind of wrap it up? I thought you might have been...
For sure. The argument, I guess, is that why would we spend money where the population... The question I guess you can ask me is, why would you spend money on an area where the population appears to have decreased?
No, we are going to spend money there, and the answer will be in the LTP, but Yeah.
Yeah, so what I'm saying, it's like saying throw a brick at the drowning east and a lifesaver to the Christchurch inner city. I think that New Brighton, with the new high schools and also the new housing that's going to be created as a result of the new schools, there will be growth.
Yeah.
And if the bums rise again, and if the state of our malls remains the same, I mean, it's Christchurch is so unique in the world, it seems just a shame that it's not a flagship for any of the tourists that come to the city. We seem to be unique, where it's a neglected, unattractive part of the city. And I guess as a cynic ratepayer, I just don't have any sort of really confidence that we're going to do anything in that suburb anytime soon. Just one thing I just...
You only need to wait a few more, about 2 months, less than 2 months. By the 30th of June, you will know the answer to your questions.
Right. I've got a question of the councillors, though. I just wanted to know who's read the 2015 master plan.
I've got it. Well, it's on my desk. Yes.
Probably
yes.
Not very many.
Yes, we've all got a copy. We've all seen it. We passed it at council.
Right.
So, I mean, look, I understand where you're coming from, and the one comment that I'll make is that I was the MP for the area when that 2002 plan came out. And I said it wouldn't work if everyone thought that the whole suburb would be fixed by a slow road. The idea of a single silver bullet to fix New Brighton that used to have Saturday trading as a monopoly just is cloud cuckoo land. The master plan that we passed the other day, it can only work where the landowners and the business owners work in collaboration with the council, or that we have powers of compulsory acquisition, because as you quite rightly identified from the plan, we can progress public spaces. We cannot require private entities to do anything unless it's for a public works. So we are taking all of this into account. We are acknowledging that the New Brighton Business Association, as it was, has become the New Brighton Business and Land Holders Association. So for the first time, one representative for the combined group, and there seems to be real progress. We have heard the pleas from the Brighton area, the wider Brighton area, and I'm sure that we will make progress as we consider the LTP.
Yeah, the only thing I've got to say really, and thanks for that, Leanne, I appreciate what you're saying, is you know what's happening now. And yeah. I think that's nothing is seen to be happening now. That's our biggest issue. Yeah,
but we will be responding as we will do in all of the areas in relation to the submissions that we've received.
All right. Thank you, and thank you, Council
Thank
members.
you. Philip Aldridge from the Court Theatre. Apologies.